There are films that entertain, films that offer escape, and films that gently prod at the human condition. And then there are films by Mike Leigh. To step into a new Leigh picture is to submit to an unflinching, often uncomfortable, but profoundly human experience. It is to agree to meet characters so viscerally real they feel less written than excavated from the marrow of modern life. His latest, the ferociously titled Hard Truths, which arrives in cinemas this January after a blistering festival run, is not just a continuation of this legacy. It is arguably its most potent distillation. A film of surgical precision and boundless, bruising empathy, Hard Truths is a staggering achievement, anchored by a central performance from Marion Jean-Baptiste that is not merely acting, but an act of breathtaking, terrifying incarnation. It is a film that asks you to spend 97 minutes with a person you would cross the street to avoid, and in doing so, forces you to confront the very nature of happiness, misery, and the silent, gnawing traumas that shape a life. The film marks a seismic reunion between Leigh and Jean-Baptiste, nearly 3 decades after their seminal collaboration on Secrets and Lies, 1996, earned them both Oscar nominations and international acclaim. In that film, Jean-Baptiste's Hortense was a figure of quiet grace and searching vulnerability. The woman she embodies here, Pansy, is her shattered mirror image. Pansy is a black hole of negativity, a middle-aged, working-class Londoner for whom every waking moment is a fresh grievance, every interaction a potential conflict. Her fury is a constant, ambient hum, a toxic energy that has saturated every corner of her meticulously, almost pathologically tidy home. Leigh, a master of the domestic canvas, paints a portrait of a family held hostage. Pansy's husband, Kurt Lay, a devastatingly weary David Weber, is a man who has retreated so far into himself he is practically translucent. He navigates his own home with the cautious, beaten-down deference of a man perpetually braced for impact. Their adult son, Moses Tuwain Barrett, in a performance of profound, sorrowful silence, drifts through the house like a ghost, his existence a constant, unspoken disappointment to his mother. He takes refuge in video games and solitary walks, his headphones a shield against the torrent of criticism that is his mother's primary language. The air in their home is thick with things unsaid, with years of accumulated pain that has calcified into a brittle, unbearable stasis. The narrative, as is typical for Leigh, eschews conventional plotting. Instead, Hard Truths is a symphony of excruciatingly observed moments, a collection of vignettes that build a portrait of a soul in agonizing distress. We watch Pansy pick a fight with a bewildered furniture salesman over the semantics of a warranty. We see her berate a well-meaning cashier, her voice a serrated blade of indignation. We witness her terror at the thought of a fox in her garden, a fear that seems to encapsulate a much larger, more amorphous dread of the world's untamable chaos. Leigh's genius, and the film's tightrope walk, is in finding the slivers of black, almost absurdist, humor in these encounters. Pansy's volcanic tirades are so relentless, so spectacularly unreasonable, that they often veer into the territory of grim comedy. You laugh, almost against your will, at the sheer audacity of her misery, before the laughter catches in your throat, choked by the palpable despair that fuels it. The film's emotional axis, and its faint glimmer of hope, is Pansy's relationship with her sister, Chantal, the wonderfully luminous Michelle Austen, another veteran of Secrets and Lies. Where Pansy's world is monochrome, Chantal's is a riot of color and warmth. She is a successful, joyous woman, a loving mother to 2 well-adjusted daughters, and a person who seems to have made peace with the world in a way Pansy finds both baffling and infuriating. Chantal is the only character who refuses to be entirely flattened by Pansy's gravitational pull of negativity. She pushes back, she cajoles, she loves her sister with a fierce, exasperated loyalty that is the film's most powerful emotional current. A pivotal sequence involves Chantal trying to persuade Pansy to visit their mother's grave on the anniversary of her death. The resulting scene, a raw, open-wound confrontation in a quiet cemetery, is where the film cracks open the hard shell of Pansy's rage to reveal the molten grief beneath. We learn of the trauma of discovering their mother's body, of the resentments and unspoken burdens of caregiving that have festered for years. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated pain, and Jean-Baptiste plays it not with theatricality, but with a horrifying, bone-deep realism. It is not a neat, cathartic breakthrough that suddenly explains everything, but it is a crucial piece of the fractured mosaic of her suffering. Leigh understands that trauma is not a plot point to be resolved. It is a landscape a person is forced to inhabit. Marion Jean-Baptiste's performance is a force of nature, a towering achievement that will be spoken of for years to come. It is a role devoid of vanity, a feat of immense courage and vulnerability. She does not ask for our sympathy. In fact, she seems to actively repel it at every turn. Yet, through the sheer force of her talent, through the subtle flicker of fear in her eyes behind the mask of rage, she commands our attention and ultimately our compassion. She makes us understand that this constant, exhausting anger is not a choice, but a cage. It is the only tool Pansy has to keep the world and her own bottomless sorrow at bay. The numerous accolades she has already received for this role feel not just deserved, but utterly essential. The supporting cast is uniformly flawless, a testament to Lee's legendary rehearsal and character-building process, where actors and director collaborate for months to create their roles from the ground up. David Weber's performance as Kirtley is a masterclass in subtlety. His exhausted sighs and defeated posture speak volumes. Tuwayne Barrett's near-silent portrayal of Moses is heartbreaking, a poignant depiction of the collateral damage of a parent's unprocessed trauma. And Michelle Austin as Chantel is the film's anchor, her warmth and resilience a vital counterpoint to Pansy's darkness. Dick Pope's cinematography captures the bleak, oppressive neatness of Pansy's home and the gray, unforgiving streets of London with a stark, observational clarity. There are no stylistic flourishes to distract from the raw human drama. The camera is a patient, unflinching observer, refusing to look away from the uncomfortable truths unfolding before it. This is not a film that seeks to beautify its subject matter. Its beauty lies in its uncompromising honesty. Hard Truths will undoubtedly be a challenging watch for some. It offers no easy resolutions, no pat psychological explanations. In a cinematic landscape dominated by stories of triumph and redemption, Lee has crafted a film about the stagnant, suffocating reality of a life lived in a state of perpetual, low-grade war. The ending is not a moment of catharsis, but a quiet, sobering acknowledgement that some wounds may never fully heal, that some battles are never truly won. It is a profoundly sad, deeply unsettling conclusion, but one that feels achingly true. To call Hard Truths a comedy drama is to use generic terms for a film that defies easy categorization. It is a tragedy laced with the absurd, a psychological study with the tension of a thriller, and a family drama of almost unbearable intensity. It is a film that gets under your skin and stays there, forcing you to reconsider the strangers you encounter every day, to wonder about the silent battles being waged behind their eyes. It is a difficult film, but a necessary one. In an age of easy answers and manufactured emotions, Mike Leigh and Marion Jean-Baptiste have given us a film that is unapologetically, brutally, and beautifully real. It is, without question, a masterpiece and an essential piece of cinema for our fractured times.